p.m. start, so make sure 5 p.m. on the dot. If teams are early, just hold them until then. Okay. I don't know. I'll have to check the uniform policy section.
Okay.
Top four, T. Top four.
I can hear Rhett. He can't hear me.
Please deliver your drop with a counterclockwise rotation.
Gotta go. Really gotta go. Top four. Top four. Gotta go.
Can you hear me? Can Rhett hear anybody?
Very faintly, but just as fixing.
Okay.
So I think they're just going to let you go ahead, and then when I get fixed.
Sure.
All right, everyone. Welcome to the playoffs. Congratulations.
That sounds
Team,
wonderful.
give yourself a round of applause. That's a huge accomplishment.
Okay. Rhett, just
Keeping
text me
it
when your mic
interesting.
is good, okay? I'll get started and then
Warlock inside for 13, 4 from Page's Mets.
You guys are
your
loud
mic
or
is
live.
good.
Provincial correct.
And I'll
Two
start.
Mets at the same time, spitting a grind. So, kind of out of breath myself, but anyway, moral of the story, we've got a 1-2 pace playoff and a 3-4 pace playoff with national berths on the line tonight. So, give it up, parents. I know you're excited to see all these amazing curvers make some great shots tonight. I'll introduce your matchups. In the 1-2 pace playoff for the men's side, we have an undefeated Team Davies from the Salmon Community Sports Center playing Team Hlushak from
Good evening, fans, folks, families, and friends of some amazing curling here in the great province of Alberta. My name is Evan Asmussen, and we are live at the Piderni Center in Red Deer, Alberta, in the Red Deer Curling Club for the 1-2 page playoff game of Curling Alberta's U20 Curling Provincial Championships, brought to you by the Hector Vey Academic and Curling Scholarship. We are getting just underway for our 1-2 game. We have a great game in store for you and great games across our sheets that myself and Rhett Mailloux will be offering you tonight. So hopefully you are getting cozy in your homes. Our screens and our teams are ready to go. And of course, our live stream is brought to you on site by Tim Burton and his production crew. We have our amazing teams of Team Davies and Team Hlushak tonight. We'll introduce our teams to you in just a hot second. As our teams get ready and our first rock is ready to be delivered, we are underway in this 1-2 page playoff championship. By virtue of the round robin and their record in the round robin, Team Davies is rewarded the hammer for this first end of play. And Team Davies will be throwing the yellow stones, and Team Hlushak will be throwing the blue stones. So our first look at Team Davies here in the 1-2 game, we have Lucas Sayak throwing his first stone in the first end, complemented by William Butler at second, Ronan Peterson at third, and Zach Davies in the skip position. This team went 7-0 in the round robin. It is an 8-team round robin, 10-end games with a page playoff format that you're seeing tonight. The winner of this game is going to head off into the Provincial Championship final, and the loser of this game will drop down to the semifinal, and they will meet the winner of the 3-4 game on the adjacent sheet. Throwing his second stone here in the first end, we have Parker Harris, lead for Team Hlushak, complemented by Varric Dopker, Jackson Hebert, and Peter Hlushak. And they curl out of the Crestwood and Sherwood Park Curling Club. So fans, we're going to do our best to call the game from this sideways angle. We will do our best, of course, to be as accurate as possible. However, your view is just as good as ours, so we're going to have some fun tonight. Parker Harris getting us going. Looks like the sheet is a little bit curlier than expected, with both of those rocks just sliding off of the center line. Want to remind you that the no-tick rule is in play for this championship. 5-rock rule 2 as well, which is something we're very familiar with. And Lucas Sayak looking to freeze the rock, just thrown by Parker Harris, not getting enough coverage or curl, covering the button. So Varric Dopker looking to make contact with the yellow stone on the button and also get a little bit underneath, asking for some curl sweep from Parker Harris. Doesn't look like it's going to catch some curl. Rolling out, but removing the yellow stone in play. Both of these teams have met each other throughout the round robin. It was Team Davies who took the win with a 7-5 win during the round robin. But it was a very, very, very close game up until the last few ends. Davies asking William to make the run back and try to remove that blue stone off of the forefoot. Was unable to make contact with the stone, and it does roll for a little bit more coverage of that blue stone at the back of the forefoot. An exchange of stones is not a bad play. The next time around, it will be a yellow stone being run into the ring, so not a bad result for Team Davies. But an early advantage for Team Hlushak. Sweeper staying off the stone, recognizing it might be a little bit heavy as it's to find some curl across the center line. It looks like it's going now, but being promoted by Parker Harris. And just slips just behind the tee line to the back of the button. Not an ideal position for Team Hlushak. They are sitting to the hammer in this first end, but both of those stones create a nice little pocket or a nest behind that corner guard. It looks like Team Davies is about to utilize that, recognizing that there is an advantage with those rock positions at the back of the forefoot. So a little bit about both of these teams. Team Davies plays and represents for the University of Alberta and also out of the Saville Community Sports Centre. Their coach, Skip Wilson, as you can see at the back there, watching over this team. This team went to the Boston Pizza Cup, the Alberta Men's Provincial Championship this year, this full lineup, representing Alberta team number 1 at the U18 National Championship, where they were able to make a semi-final finish at the Nationals. So they're coming in from great success at a national championship, looking to find their way to another one. And this path looks a little bit warm as 4 rocks have been played down that path. Jackson Hebert finding a warm spot, just a little bit too heavy. Pulling that yellow over just a little bit more, but also sliding through the rings. Recognizing this path has been used for the last few stones, Ronan definitely is aware of the tolerance on this shot. A little lighter is better, aiming to be in front of his rock at play. Sweeper's working to get that stone a little bit further and frozen to the yellow rock at the top of the forefoot. Does look like it may be set up an angle, however, maybe a little bit of over curl. Both of those yellows might go on the run back. Difficult shot nonetheless, but maybe actually created a larger target by over yellow stone or by coming that deep. And these go hard. That's something that you are going to see as Parker Harris tries to keep up to Jackson Hebert's rock here. Maybe just a little bit narrow, maybe captured a little bit of curl in that fresh spot in the first end, as everything is just a little bit fresh and a little bit crispy, as they might say. Pebble is nice in some of these areas, hasn't been broken down yet. But a good result nonetheless. Opens up those 2 yellow stones. But Davies does have be removed out.
Especially guard, Ben. Especially guard, Ben. Hard turn. Top 8! Top 8! Top 12! 12! Keep going! I actually really like that weight if you had the line, you bump it on. Moved a lot, sorry. I don't know if I said it. Oh, I thought I said it. Like, that should be pretty straight up. Like, I don't think we're easy. Me and Kobe were both low. I think it was just spot, guys. Yeah, I think it might. Easy. Very nice. Nice and quick. 6-7.
Hello, curling fans, and welcome back to end number 3 action here at the 2025 U20 Provincials presented by the Heck Gervais Scholarship Foundation. A big matchup here, Team Davies against Team Hlushak in the 1-2 page playoff to determine who goes straight to the final. We'd like to apologize as we had a few technical difficulties in our first couple of ends. We did have Evan Asmussen with us commentating, and good old technology like to rear its ugly head. So I'm here. My name is Rhett Malu, and I will be commentating for the rest of the game. What we've missed so far is a big end to start off by Team Davies. They're scoring 2 and taking the lead with their hammer. And Hlushak blank for the second. So to start off this end, we saw a corner guard to try and get that 2 back, but as we have 2 really well-placed stones by Team Davies in the house, we've changed gears here to try and do a little bit of cleanup, and they might get a chance to come under that corner later in the end, but still early in the game, so you're not going to see them go too hard for a deuce right now. Second, Varric Doepker is just going to curl a little too much on that one and going to create the jam. Not ideal, but still not the worst outcome, and we're going to watch Zach as he's going to try and get a little bit of a hit and roll to the center, and without hammer trying to keep that play to the center and prevent a multiple score for the Hlushak team here. Might even get a force out of it. Both strong teams throughout the week, as I believe Team Davies is sitting at 7-0 after round robin play. So both teams earning their chance into this 1-2 page playoff. A little bit of an overcurl there for William Butler, but he's going to get the job done, and blue is going to come out of play. But as that yellow is now sitting in the 12th foot, we're going to see Peter Hlushak and his team try and come under this corner guard, and that will allow them to be sitting shot and buried. For those of you a little unfamiliar with the two teams, we have Zach Davies for the U of A team here, Team Davies. Let me just... Yes. Apologies again for the Zach Davies rink we have at Skip Zach Davies, and third is Ronan Peterson, William Butler at second, and Luke for the lead. This team is coached by Skip Wilson. On the other end, we have Team Hlushak, skipped by Peter Hlushak. Third, Jackson Hebert. Second, Varric Doepker. and lead Parker Harris, coached by Coach Reg Reinhardt. So we're going to see that Jackson once again is going to try and come under this corner guard as these yellows aren't placed in too good a position. So going to try and sit for shot. And my apologies, he might even be coming to the back one and try to generate a 2 any way he can. Great draw there to sit under cover. Might be poking out a little bit of a piece. So we're going to see here Ronan Peterson try and come at it with a little bit of a hackish weight, maybe board. We've seen lots of movement this week, so lots of great shots like these can be made, really showing off the talent of our U20 athletes in the U20 field this year. Just going to pick it out. A great shot by Ronan there. Now, a lot of thinking here for Peter as he's trying to decide how to keep that chance for 2 alive, but also not to get in too much trouble. Great sweep there to finish it off by Parker Harris, trying to get a little more movement and bring that blue in front of the yellow. Fortunately, it's not going to be fully in front of that yellow, so it's going to give Zach a chance here to hit and maybe roll on top of his own and miss the back one. Going to have to keep an eye on this shot here as talking throughout the week with the athletes, we've seen a little bit of a high center. So what that means is on a sheet of ice, as much as all curlers would love it to be exactly flat, we usually find different shapes on the sheets, whether it be high edges or high centers. And what that does is it makes those rocks as they curl in different spots react a little differently. So with that high center that the athletes have been talking about, we might see this rock come off the center line a little quicker than you would see on other spots in the sheet. Both teams are going to be well aware of this, as before the event we have what's called a pre-event practice, where each team gets 10 minutes on each sheet to check for any differences between rocks or between sheets. And a great shot there by Zach to take out the blue and not disturb the yellows in the back. Would have liked to stick the shooter, but still not a bad situation for him. We're going to watch. Peter's going to come down and try and make the double here. Maybe keep that blank opportunity alive if the blue will peek out around the corner. Lots of weight coming down here for Peter Hlushak. And just going to catch the bottom half of that the second yellow stone. They're going to keep it in place. So it looks like Zach's going to draw to the other side and going to force Peter to take his one in this end. Not only have both teams been a powerhouse here in the provincials all week, They have been a powerhouse throughout the year. We have seen Team Davies and Team Hlushak show up in lots of events throughout the season. Team Hlushak, both U20 and U18 events, I believe, winning quite a few of them. So both teams have come to provincials ready to play and ready to show off all their skills. Coming out to the wings of the sheet here, both teams going to have to keep an eye on the speed and how it's moving, as not seen a lot of shots out here for a while. So a little bit of guess on weight and line. Something, once again, these teams might have kept an eye on through the pre-event practice or even the pre-game practice. See Peter here, just going to hit the one and take his, or hit the yellow one in the back and take his one. Great separation of stones by Team Zach Davies. Sweepers are off this one. Might be running a little hot and a little wide. Looks like it's not going to quite catch enough of the yellow, and it's going to be a steal for one. Zach Davies here in end number 3. Already first rock here for the U of A team, Team Zach Davies. We have Lucas Sawiak just going to come into the rings. Being 3 up allows him a little bit of comfort. So not gonna force anyone's hand and make Peter and his team make that first move. And you're going to watch Peter's going to throw up a corner here as he's really trying to generate a deuce here, especially in an even end. And he's allowed to do that as the yellow just thrown there by Lucas isn't in an ideal position. So gives him a little bit of a buffer to take the time, throw the corner, and not have to worry about that stone. Sweeper's on it early out of Parker's hand, so might be a little light from the kick, but we can watch as both Jackson and Varick are dragging the rock as far as they can. Impressive none the least to see the curl you still get with an inside out or a end-to-end sweep. That curl inside out. Good props to the ice makers here all week. Have been getting up early and staying late to create a surface to have or to let these awesome athletes perform all week and show us what they can do. Now we watch as Zach is going to Ask Lucas to draw in here to the top four, bring that play to the center, and although we're probably going to see Peter come under his corner, it's going to force them to worry about these stones eventually. Really great draw there from Parker Harris. Can't quite tell if he got it fully buried from the angle we see the sheets at, but by the looks of Zach ignoring it, gonna say he does. Gonna watch as William Butler delivering his first stone here at the end. Yeah, gonna come down a little hot. That's something you'll see in a lot of curling games you watch as rocks go down the same path. It tends to do what we call keening up that path, which means you don't have to throw quite as much weight to get to the same spot as the spot warms up and runs a little quicker. So now with one blue buried behind the corner guard, we're going to see Peter and his team now look at worrying about these stones in the center of the sheet here. Sitting shot number 2, if they can get a little hit and roll here, it's going to come back and force the hand of Zach and his rink to put some pressure on. See Jackson there on the curl sweep, trying to get that rock back over and a little bit of a roll to keep the separation. William on a second stone, just going to try a little hit and roll, a nice control weight hit and roll. Try to keep those rocks towards the center and take that chance for a deuce away, if not lessen it. Lucas at the end trying to get that last little bit of curl, but it looks like it's actually going to roll the other way. Kind of a unfortunate spot as it's going to give Varric here a chance to roll back. Give him a second chance of a shot he's already tried. A little bit of a different turn, so still going to have to be aware of the different turn and the different way this might run. And I really like what Peter's doing here. He's throwing a nice soft weight, a board weight to bring the sweepers into play. You can see on both teams here we have quite talented sweepers, especially Jackson Hebert here as we see him. He's one of the best, if not the best, on tour, and just a little hot there. Maybe a little bit outward on release, but just going to sail by. Varric's going to wish he had that one back because it's going to give Zach Davies an opportunity to rip the guard here. And that chance for 2 is still there, but it's going to be hard to score. Third for Zach Davies, Ronan Peterson with his first rock for the end. Going to get one and get rid of the one in the back. Kind of unfortunate as it kind of leaves a corner guard there for the Hlushak team. Although it's the other color, it's something worth using. Jackson Hebert with his first of the end, going to try what Varick did on his last one. Have that little bit of a hit and roll and sit under that yellow corner on the side of the sheet here. Big scrub here from Parker Harris to try to get a little more movement. Not going to quite get the movement to the outside, but does get a little bit of a roll in. We watch as Zach here is going to call for the double, but he does have to watch out as the yellow just bumped there. Could become a catcher, but with the weight I think they're throwing at this, it might not be an issue. On and off sweep for Lucas Sawiak, and beautiful double there from Ronan Peterson, missing the one in the back of the 12. Not a great setup here for Team Hlushak as there's 1, 2, 3, and 4 yellows in play. And they're trying to keep their chances for a deuce alive. Blank chances aren't quite here, but Jackson can make this hit and roll here. We might see Team Davies chase it. On it early out of the hand. Here's Varick Dwepker with a big sweep. Looks like it's just going to hit it a little too thin and roll out. On to skip zones now. We're going to see Zach try to place his raw grade in the top 12 there on the center line. Once again, just trying to make that opportunity for two as small as it can be. By placing your stone high in the top 12 here, it forces Peter to do something about it, as it'll most likely guard the one sitting top button. And with Peter having to deal with that, it's also most likely going to leave a chance for Zach to have a shot on the shooter. Sweeper's liking the weight here, just waiting for it to curl. Maybe a little heavier than top 12, so we might see them bring it to a freeze. I'm just going to overcurl a hair. Unfortunately, that's going to leave Peter this hit roll once again to keep his chances of that deuce alive. A little bit of a conversation there, trying to keep quiet so you guys can listen in. Just talking about where they want to hit this for the best outcome. While we're waiting for Peter to throw here, I want to give a huge shout out to the sponsors supporting this event. And Curling Alberta would like to say thank you to Cabinet Creations, Floor Store, and the Rob Armitage family, as they have put a lot of money forward to help make this event run smoothly. And we appreciate everything they've done. Great shot there by Peter Hlushak. Just going to roll a little bit too far. Not going to quite sit in a good spot. So I'm going to watch as Zach's going to come here. Just a little bit of a hit and roll under the corner to force force Peter to once again take that one. All right, Zach Davies, his last shot of the end. A little bit of a hit and roll. Try and force Team Hlushak to take their one. Beautiful shot there from Zach Davies. A little bit more of a roll, but it's not going to hurt him as it staggers the two yellows, taking away any chance for a blank here. Peter Hlushak, final stone to the end to draw against 3 and keep his one. Not going to quite get there, and I believe that's another 2 for Team Davies as we're going to go to 5-0 into the fifth end of play. We will be right back. We are back here in end number 5, Team Davies with a steal of 2 against Team Hlushak here. A little bit of a dangerous situation here for Team Hlushak because they're down 5 after the first 4 ends. Going to have to work their way back and try and catch up. We see 2 Team Davies stones in really good positions in the front of the house. So going to watch as William Butler here places a guard, and it's going to make it really hard for Team Hlushak to score a multiple, if not one. Great shot there by William Butler. Close enough that there's not the ability to play a soft shot around it, and top 12, so it'll prevents an easy run or an easy double. Going to watch as Peter and his team ignore that stone as they know the dire situation that they're in right now. Just about at the halfway point of their game, trying to get the points back. These are always the scary parts of the games, as you know you're going to have a lot of rocks in play and you know you're going to have to work your butt off to get points back. But the thing about having a lot of rocks in play is you have to make your shots to the best of their abilities, because not only is there a lot of your stones, but there's going to be a lot of their stones. And in curling, it takes one shot to change around a whole end. And I'll watch as second Eric Doepker there going to come a little heavy on the draw. And Zach wastes no time going up for the peel. He knows that's the only way that team Hlushak scores a multiple, so he's going to get rid of it as quick as he can. Quick peel there by William Butler, and they're going to ask here for Varick to throw another corner guard. Going to try and delay throwing, dealing with the ones in the middle there. Maybe hoping for a miss, but not likely you're going to see a team of this caliber miss, especially on appeal. With a great setup by the team Davies here, it's really hard for the Hlushak team to get anything going. It just goes to show the talent of the Davies team as they have gone 7-0 this week at the U20 Provincials. Good sweep by Parker and Jackson there to get that corner guard into a really good spot. But as we've seen before, Zach wasting no time to jump up and get rid of that corner guard. Now you see Jackson going there to Peter before he throws. Just giving him a chance to talk about how long they want to delay dealing with the middle. Gets rid of the blue and rolls as far as he can over, leaving no chance for Peter to use it as a wide corner. So one more corner going to be put up here by Team Hlushak, and then I think we might start seeing some high hard ones to deal with the center stones. Now, like I said previously, and like Evan said when he was on the broadcast there for the first end, a couple stones coming down the same path, it's going to speed up that path. And we see that there as Jackson Hebert's going to come up a little heavy on that corner guard and open up the back blue. Now Zach's going to change gears here. He knows that Team Hlushak isn't going to wait too much longer to deal with the center stones. So he knows he's got 3 good ones set up, 1, 2, 3. So he's going to cap a guard on those and really make it difficult for the Hlushak team to even score this end. See third, Ronan Peterson. Sweeper's really liking the weight. I'm just going to ask it, or sweep and ask it to curl a little bit more. Great shot there from Ronan. Might have come a little deeper than they would have liked, but nonetheless, it's, as we can see here, Team Hlushak's going to have to deal with it. And if you need someone to clean up stones, it's Jackson Hebert's a good person because he can throw the weight. I would only like to see the clock on this one as Varric Dwepker and Parker Harris try to keep up with it. And with one rock, 1, 2, 3, go, and the fourth just about leaving the rings. What a shot there from Jackson Hebert. You know, that's right there is what we call an end-saving shot. Is in one shot there, it has kind of changed around the story of this end. Team Hlushak still going to have a lot of work to potentially keep that deuce chance alive, but it's looking a lot better now than it was a rock ago. We're going to watch as Zach Davies is going to have a little bit of a soft shot here. Just going to navigate the port and try to grab the one in the back of the rings. Great sweep there from William Butler using what some teams are calling the gallop sweep. And what that is you'll watch as these athletes will put so much pressure into what we call a push stroke. And what that is when you're sweeping, you have both a push and a pull stroke as you're pushing forward and pulling back in. And teams have learned, if you want a rock to curl, that is that push stroke, that push away is what does the most in the carving. So we watch as, especially William Butler, quite tall athlete, puts all his weight and all his pressure onto the broom and pushes forward to carve into the ice and help the rock move over. So great sweeping from both teams here as we've watched, as we can watch both teams using these different techniques. Maybe a little bit of a misjudge by the sweepers here at Team Hlushak as they were on with a heavy clean, keeping their broom on the ice, trying to keep the weight alive, but just might have overswept it a hair as it's going to end up in the back of the house and just through. Unfortunate miss there for Peter Hlushak. This is going to give a chance for Zach Davies to come around that center guard and get what we call in curling a force and maybe even a steal. So now Zach has seen the first rock thrown there by Peter, so he's going to have a really good idea of both the weight and the line. Not only that, as sweepers are going to have a pretty good judge as it comes down the sheet. Liking the weight cleaning out of the hand. Looks like it's going to hang out there a bit, and sweepers are off it. Might be a little heavier than they would have liked. Rock coming to a stop just behind the corner or the center guard there. I can't quite see if it's top button or back button, but either or, it's going to give Peter Hlushak a chance to tap the stone and sit as one. Alrighty, last stone at the end. Peter Hlushak trying to tap the yellow and grab his first point of the game. Great shot for Peter Hlushak. His first shot, her first point of the game here. It's going to be 5-1. Zach Davies and his team having the hammer going into end number 6. We're going to have a little bit of a fifth end break here, and we will be back with you as the action resumes here at the 2025 U20 Curling Provincials presented by the Heck Gervais Scholarship Foundation. Hello, curling fans, and we are back after the fifth end break here, back with Team Davies and Team Hlushak as they fight here in the 1 versus 2 page playoff. Big game here as of the winner of this game locks their spot into the final tomorrow evening. Now we've seen Team Hlushak finally being able to put a point up on the board in the last end, but Team Davies, a strong showing so far, preventing them from converting the hammer into a 2-point score. Now with a 4-point lead here in the second half of the game, I'm going to see that Team Davies isn't going to try too hard to create any offense. It's just going to try and make it as hard as they can for Team Hlushak to score. Coming a little heavy here from Lucas Sawiak. During the fifth end break, you'll see that the ice makers come through and they do what's called mopping the sheet. They run a mop up and down the sheet to grab any debris or anything that might be sitting on the ice that has fallen off of clothes, off of shoes, or even off of rocks. So what that does is not only does it clean the ice, but it tends to speed up the ice a half second or a second. And what I mean by that is athletes don't have to quite kick as hard out of the hack to get that ideal weight. So might have just seen Lucas get a little caught there, but chance at a redemption here as Team Hlushak knows they need a steal bad and putting up the double centers. Sweepers liking this weight a lot better as they're keeping it clean down. Just trying to let the stone do its thing and work its way in. Great shot there by Lucas Sawiak to cut down the scoring area and make it a difficult draw. Derek Dwepker, second of Team Hlushak, asked to freeze to the one top 8 there. Not going to leave him shot stone, but hopefully going to set up something later in the end to steal a couple or maybe even force. Big scrub by both Jackson Hebert and Parker Harris. Not going to quite get it to the ideal position. As this game is going on, the ice might start to wear down a little bit, especially in the slide path. For those of you that don't know, as curlers slide out time and time again along the same lines, it tends to wear down the pebble in that spot. So as game goes on, we tend to see the ice slow up a little bit. After playing in this event myself throughout the week, and I can talk to it as well, as with all these strong sweepers here at the U20 Provincials, even the draw paths tend to wear down as nowadays we have these great sweepers and they're putting a lot of pressure into their brooms and wearing down that pebble. So even those paths tend to slow up a little bit. So both teams going to have to keep an eye on that. As you can see here with Derek Dwepker's second stone, Jackson Hebert off the hop, just trying to keep a heavy clean down and keep that bigger weight alive for longer to hopefully give it a chance of making it all the way down the sheet. His rock going to come a little bit deep, but it's going to be buried. So great spot there for Varric Dwepker. Zach Davies understanding the dire situation for Team Hlushak, going to start peeling off the guards as he knows it's the only way for Team Hlushak to score here. Jackson Hebert here, just trying to replace that guard. Very great shot on his part. As we talked about, the ice is starting to wear down and kind of get a little fudgy, as us curlers call it. So that high guard is a difficult one, as you want to try and make sure that you're not throwing too much weight and you keep separation between the guards, but also you don't want to throw it too little or too light. Another peel attempt here by Ronan Peterson. Just going to come a little bit wide and going to flash both guards and takes out his own. Not a great shot there, and a little bit of an oops. Going to give Team Hlushak a chance to get another one buried and sit two. Like I said earlier, another instance where one rock can change the whole story of an end. Great management of the stone from the whole team. Great shot there for Peter Hlushak in his rink as Jackson Hebert comes up with a great draw to sit top button buried. That's a big team shot. Peter calling line, Jackson throwing, and both the sweepers communicating the weight. Really goes to show why both of these teams deserve to be in this 1-2 page playoff. Already, like we saw earlier, Team Davies just trying to whittle away at those guards, hopefully bringing out a miss from the Hlushak team, as they know those two rocks in the 4-foot area are going to make it difficult for them to prevent the steal for Team Hlushak here, and might even force them to one, which isn't great. You know, all these teams here at the Curling Alberta U25 Provincials presented by the Hector Vey Scholarship and Curling Foundation. Pardon me, I cut out there, but like I said, Zach Davies and his team know that these players are so good, and you might be up 4, but that doesn't mean nothing here, as we've seen teams come back better than that. I believe there was a game during the week here that the first end there was a score of 5 put up on the board, and the other team came back and scored a 6. So nothing is here in Provincials, especially with the talent of these teams. Now, a little unfortunate for Peter Hlushak to come a little deep on that guard and leave him staggered, as it's going to give Zach Davies an angle at this lower guard and might be able to. We might see a lot of granite flying here. We talked about Jackson Hebert's ability to throw hard, but you know what? Zach Davies is one of those people who I see as an all-around curler, and he's not afraid to throw it hard himself. I've played him myself on multiple occasions, and not only a great ice reader, but he knows how to feel it, and he can throw anything from a draw to a peel weight hit and be pretty accurate. So Zach Davies on his first, trying to move some granite here. Not going to quite catch it where he would like, but going to get some granite moving and change up the angles here for Peter Hlushak and his team. Another great outcome of that shot is now Zach has Yellowstone sitting in front of the house, which he can use on his next one for a run back if he needs. We see Jackson and Peter talking here about where the best place this stone is.
Weight's good, team. Top four. Top four.
For those of you joining us later in the stream, I also want to say that we're shouting out a big thank you to the sponsors of the U20 2025 Curling Provincials presented by the Hector Bay Scholarship and Curling Foundation, Cabinet Creations, Flooring Superstore, and Rob Armitage Family. Sponsors like them are what allow these events to run, and we appreciate every dime that they've sent. See Team Hlushak just going to take a timeout here and ask their coach, Reg Reinhardt, where the best spot to place this stone is. While we're waiting on this timeout, I also want to shout out the umpires here at this event, volunteering their time to be here all week and to watch over play. We don't quite have referees in our sport, but they're here to keep things running fair and keep teams happy, and they've done a great job of it. Not only that, they help us out when we need measures and need to check if rock is in the house or not, and even most times put up the score. So a huge shout out to them as well. Peter Hlushak here, his last stone of the end, trying to place this in a good spot and force Zach Davies to make a shot. Just going to come to the top 12 to take away that draw path and like I said, make Zach work for it. Looks like this rock is just going to come up a little bit heavy. It might be an opportunity to make all three go. Going to watch as Ronan and Zach have a little bit of a chat about this. With the weight these guys can throw and with how lively the stones have been all week, lots of shots are able to be made. It's a risk-reward situation here as Zach knows he's got a lead of 4. He's going to decide if he wants to take on that risk. Now both teams given 40 minutes of thinking time throughout the game, so you might not see them waste too much time talking about this shot, as we've had a couple not so simple ends, which might leave them with a little less time. And it looks like Zach's going to take on the triple attempt to try and sit the blank. Zach Davies' last shot at the end, trying to get rid of 3 blue stones here. Great shot there from Zach Davies. Not going to quite get all 3 going, but he's going to sit for one, I believe, to bring his lead 6-1 going into end number 7. We'll be right back in just a few short moments. Alrighty, we're back in end number 7 action here. Team Davies versus Team Hlushak in the 1-2 page playoff. A great shot in the last end there for Zach Davies to get his one, bringing his lead to 5 points. Once again, we're going to see with Peter Hlushak and his team Hammer trying to put up those quarters and create a chance for multiple. Now, we shouted out umpires, we shouted out sponsors, but we have to also give a huge shout out to the people who make this event run so smoothly. Justice Jakes and Curling Alberta have done a fantastic job in putting on this event, and I give him a lot of props, as I would not want to be in his shoes. So yeah, once again, a huge shout out to Justice and even Raymond doing the media day, making it an enjoyable experience all week for these athletes. A little bit of a wipeout. They're going to burn a stone. Unfortunate for Team Hlushak, but got up, dusted it off, and into the next shot we go. Team Hlushak, another chance at the corner guard here. Great shot from Parker there, and a great way to bounce back after a little bit of a mishap on the first stone. To see Zach thinking again, just trying to find a good spot to place a stone to prevent that inevitable deuce. William Butler with the first stone of the end. Took a similar path here. Peter took a similar path here a couple of ends ago for his first point of the game. I'm going to have a little bit of an idea of what it's going to do, but it's just looking like it's going to hang out a little bit longer, and we see Lucas trying to do that gallop sweep, as we call it. Now, a little quite unfortunate, I should say, for Team Davies there, as it almost promotes their own stone to be what's called a catcher. And what that means is um, Team Hlushak and Peter here are going to call to come around that corner guard and that almost use that stone as something that could be a potential jam later in the end. One thing curlers learn really quick is not only can stones be your friend, but they can be your enemy, no matter what color they are. And just a little bit of a miss there from Varric Dwepker. Gonna give Zach Davies a chance to just peel away the corner. It's one of those things that Varric's gonna be a little bit upset with himself because we have what's called tolerance. You know, you can be a little bit or a little bit light or a little bit heavy on some shots, and that shot there is one you couldn't quite be heavy on, as it opens the door for Team Davies to once again force Team Hlushak to 1 point. Varric Dwepker on a second stone, trying to put up that corner guard. Looks to be really good weight. Jackson Hebert trying to sweep it to curl and ask it to move that little bit more. And a great spot for Varric. Dak once again wasting no time. Running up, peel the guard. Be happy to do this all day. Ronan Peterson with his first. Easy peel to put it back to the same spot. Peter's going to put up another guard, but he's, like I said earlier, he's going to think to himself, how long can you delay before you have to start making moves on stones in the forfeit area? Varric asking the stone, curling it to sweep and asking the stone to get over. It's going to be a little deeper than they would have liked it. Might open up the chance for a peel to catch the back blue, but looks like Zach's just once again going to call the single peel. He's in no rush to do anything big. Roman Peterson with a second. Might have came out a little bit tight as we see William hard on this stone, but still going to catch it enough to take out the blue. A little bit of changing gears here for Peter Hlushak as come down and freeze. With 3 stones left, trying to create something and create a little bit of room to keep that score 2 alive, as they're going to need a couple crooked numbers to get back in this game. Sweepers are liking the weight all the way, nice clean, and Varric at the end just going to ask it once again to curl up a hair. And a great managed shot from Team Hlushak there. To sit dead frozen. Someone call the welder. Those stones are glued together. Now we're going to see another high, hard one here from Zach as he's going to use his own stone to come off of and break those two welded stones on the center of the forefoot. Might even get a little lucky and grab that back blue too. Main goal here, though, is just to make some space with that blue yellow freeze in the center of the sheet. Zach Davies, his first of the end with a high, hard one. Sweeper's on it out of the hand, and you can hear the intensity in the voices. 1, 2, both blues go, and that is a great shot there from Zach Davies to clean up house. Decision time for Team Hlushak here. They got 2 stones, and they got to make them count.
Max, 3 on its own. Max, good, stay out.
I think we can see Peter and Jackson talking here about a potential double, so they might even be thinking to try and blank this end, as they know getting forced is not great. Hit and roll as well. Try to use that Yellowstone top 8 as cover. Zach Davies and his team with a great end so far, not making it easy for the Hlushak team.
Wait's good.
I believe they opted for the hit and roll. And I think you're going to see quite a bit of steam on this rock as they're going to want to try and get a flat roll. As I believe that Yellowstone is on the tee line, and they want to keep it available to sit shot stone. Looks like a good 9-second or 8-second hit weight coming down the ice here. And just not going to quite come up for Peter Hlushak here. Going to sit right on the nose.
Wait's good. Wait's good.
Zach Davies taking no time whatsoever. He knows the shot, and he's going to just come down and hit that one on the nose. Maybe try to get a little bit of a roll to make that score of 1 harder for Peter Hlushak, but main goal, get the blue out of dodge.
Roll.
Zach Davies, his last stone in the end, trying to get rid of the blue. Just like that, gets rid of the blue, and Peter with a hit back for his 1. Team Davies has done an amazing job in showing their strength, keeping one of the top U18 and U20 teams to single points here. Both teams, like I said earlier in the broadcast, have been strong all season. Parker Harris sweeping to try and keep it from rolling too far. Roner Peterson trying to get it to go as far as it'll go, but it looks like it's going to be a 4-1 for Team Hlushak here, bringing us to 6-2 going into end number 8. We are back in end number 8 here at the 2025 U20 Provincials. Your U20 Curling Provincials presented by the Hector Bay Curling and Scholarship Foundation. Team Peter Hlushak down by 4 here in the 8th end. Going to have to make something, get the pedal to the metal and make something work as they're looking for a steal.
1, 2, 2, 2.
Going to throw a high center. It looks like we're going to have some double centers coming from Team Hlushak because they know they can't just get away with a steal of one. They need a few here in this end. And Zach, without a second guess, is going to come to the center. Now, once again, teams being the 8th end, they're going to have to keep an eye out as they come to the center as that slide path is going to wear down. It looks like Lucas is just going to come up a little bit wide there. And Peter's going to take no time. Going to ask Parker to throw that second center guard. Little bit too much steam on this one as it's going to come and just grab the top of the house, but high enough as it's going to act as a second guard, but you might even see Zach Davies try with it without it being in the free guard zone. You might see him try and chase it and take it off. But nope, going to see another rock placed in the top 12. Like what they're doing here, keeping it open, taking away a draw path, and keeping the stones usable for later in the end. Because they know eventually Team Hlushak's going to have to come under those center guards. Beautiful shot by lead Lucas Sawiak there as you see the brooms go up. Great shot. Couldn't have went down and placed it any better. And we're going to see as Peter's going to ask Varric here to come around the centers. Very difficult shot late in the game as it's starting to fudge. Trying to feel out that draw weight. Not only that, your sweeper's trying to judge the stone coming down the sheet. And we see Parker Harris and Jackson on it a little bit early. Just going to squeak it by the second guard, and What a shot there from Varick to come top button. And Zach knows what time it is. The train is about to leave the station to the high hard ones. William Butler with a great throw there to get rid of the top guard, and Peter's just going to go back and place it once again, trying to delay and hopefully get a miss out of the Davies team. Sweeper's backing off a hair, as thinking this might be a little bit heavy as we watch it run. Going to come a little too close to the low center they placed earlier, and give Zach a chance to maybe go for a double peel. But does have to watch as might catch his yellows in the house, but righty, William Butler trying for the double peel. Look at Sawiak with a big scrub. 1, 2, 3, they go, and holy call the cops, your chance at scoring has just been stolen. What a shot there from William Butler. Team from the U of A in Edmonton is just showing off their strength this week. Coming in with a 7-0 record and not backing down from the hard shots. Great freeze there from Jackson Hebert, trying to make the best of what is left over. Ronan Peterson is first of the end here, just trying to get rid of their guard. Coming up a little tight as we see William trying to scrub to grab a piece of the guard and just nicks it, but enough to get it out of play. Goes to show the importance of a great front end, as although we'd all like to be perfect, we're all human and we make our mistakes. So great way to save the shot. A big sweep there from William, and I'm sure Ronan's going to give him a good pat on the back for that one. Say thank you, buddy. Another guard placed by Jackson Hebert. Not quite over enough, as I think Team Davies is going to be able to pick that one off, but Zach just playing nice and conservative, taking off the front one, forcing Team Hlushak to make that first move. Once again, a little tight from Ronan Peterson, and big sweep from Butler here. Lucas isn't going to quite get the shooter to the boards, but far enough away that it's not a problem. Now Team Hlushak knows it's a little late for another guard, so going to try and come under that stagger and use it as a guard. Force the U of A team, Team Davies, to make a good one. Sweeper's liking it out of Peter's hand. A little bit of a scrub early. Might be a little lighter than they thought. Parker Harris leaning into it. Trying to get as much as they can out of the stone. Varick jumping in to ask it to move over just a little bit. And going to get to the top of the button, but leaving itself wide open. No messing around here with Zach Davies. Going to bonk that one on the nose, and going to have to see what Peter's going to have to offer to try and create a steal, as he needs a score to go up on the board here. A blank wouldn't be bad either, but with the amount of yellows in the rings, it looks like that might be out of play. Might not have liked to roll away, but it's going to force Peter to once again draw under the stagger. Also talking about that thin double, but it's a hard shot, and it's kind of an all or nothing shot. But right now you're in a situation where you need that all or nothing. Both shots aren't easy. Even a hit and roll looks nice here. So I think that's what Peter's going to be able to be taking on. They're a nice strong 9 across the face, get a nice flat roll. For those of you that do not know what I mean, across the face is coming from the outside of the rock to try and hit the inside, whereas coming into it is curling into the stone. What it does by coming across the face is it kind of it tends to make that rock roll a little flatter and keep it higher in the rings, whereas you come into it and it rolls a little deeper. Us curlers aren't just a little bit light in the head. We know all these physics too. So big hit and roll there from Peter Hlushak to sit number 1. Now the question is, can Zach hit that blue and maybe get that yellow to drag onto the back one for a potential 2 or 3? They're looking at it right now. Just going to take the draw for 1. They know they got a lead and they know they're in control, so
Easy up!
Zach Davies' final stone in the end. They hit the foot and try to go one more ahead of Team Hlushak here. Sweepers down and cleaning, liking the weight. That's going to be one more for Team Davies to bring them 7-2 going into the ninth end. Sorry, that will be handshakes, and we have a final here on sheet number B. It's going to be Zach Davies and his team from the U of A heading into the final. Get on the bus and on to Finalville. Here they go. Team Hlushak's going to be seen tomorrow morning at 9:30 in the semifinal game. Have another chance to that final. A great game from both ends as the two powerhouses of the U20 Tour go head to head, and we will see you guys tomorrow at 9:30 for the semifinal draw here at the U20 Curling Alberta Provincials, presented by Hector V and the Curling and Scholarship Foundation. Once again, thank you to Cabinet Creations Flooring Superstore and the Rob Armitage family for their support of this event. Thank you to the umpires, and thank you to Justice Jakes and Curling Alberta for allowing this to run smoothly. I hope all of you have a great rest of your night. Like I said, we'll see you all tomorrow morning.